She's not what you'd expect. She's tough and feisty, but gentle and tender. She makes millions and gives millions to the poor. She cries, she laughs, she teaches, she comforts. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
Hi, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. Thanks so much for joining us today. Is today that day that you need like a little shot in the arm of some motivation? Maybe today might you be feeling overwhelmed. If you're like our guest today, you're working 100+ hours a week, neglecting the thing that's more important to you than anything else, your family. When I first met this couple, Greg and Melanie Greenough from Canada, they both actually were married, but living in separate houses. Not because they didn't get along, but because this is just the way, for some unknown reason, their choices actually brought them to. They finally realized that this was just not healthy for the relationship. 2 different homes in 2 different places, traveling back and forth, so much time on the road, plus the 100 hours of work week. After coming to a First Steps to Success and the website, DaniJohnson.com, they kind of had some wake-up calls and needed to make some new decisions. Sometimes it can be tough to do that. But here on the Dani Johnson Show, we challenge you every single day to really define what is success for you. So if working 100 hours a week and making $100,000 a year is your idea of success, well then, by golly, have a blast with that nonsense. Man, when I worked 100 hours a week, there was no amount of money that was worth it. And that's pretty much where this couple found themselves. Suffocating from debt, working far more than they should, the relationship stressed, health stressed, and really asking themselves, is this really all worth it? Greg and Melanie Greenough from Canada, welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. How are you guys?
Missing you.
I know, right? I know, right? So, hey, let's talk about that. You know, it's so amazing to me. You know, I'm trying to remember, what year was it that we first started coaching?
Oh my gosh, I think it was around 2008.
I know. So it's been 10 years. That's what I was thinking today. Is, man, it's been a decade. That's initially what I thought. I think I've known these guys for about a decade. And when I look back and think about, man, right? You remember you guys had 2 separate houses, right? Traveling back and forth. This was just a crazy time for you, and the amount of debt and the pressure of having to keep up all the hours to be able to take care of that debt, and yet putting a nice, pretty face on. Everything is wonderful, but everything sucked, right? Do you remember those days?
I do.
So, Greg,
I actually remember jumping online, Dani, because we were like, I distinctly remember driving through a mountain pass and going on DaniJohnson.com at a coffee shop in the middle of nowhere. I was searching and looking for something because I was literally unwilling to teach one more person to do what we had been taught to do. And that's actually how we landed in your coaching in the first place, because I was just like, flag in the sand, done, not doing it anymore.
Yeah. So what was it that you were doing? You know what I mean? So what do you mean by like, so you didn't want to lead another person on a path of what? Going into massive amounts of debt, working all these hours. What part of your life did you not want to duplicate again?
Almost all of it. No, we were building a network marketing business, and I had a home in one city, and then 12 hours away is where she was from. We met and married, and traveling back and forth, and we had our biggest year ever in business, multiple 6 figures that year. And I just remember Melanie one day, it was probably just before what she was just talking about. She just woke up one day and she said, listen, if this is what network marketing is, I want nothing to do with it. Yeah. And I'm like, we just had our biggest year ever. What are you talking about?
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? You know, when you're sacrificing your life and you're owned by people and you're pitching freedom, but you have none, it sucks. It just sucks. And so I remember our very first phone call, like just getting real with y'all about that. and what it was actually going to change, like what had to change in order for you guys to find some balance and some harmony between the two of you. And so you came down to the United States to attend First Steps to Success. What was like the first thing that you changed in attending that first event?
Well, after getting the sledgehammer at First Step, we changed a lot. I think, me personally, I tried to change too much at once. Mm-hmm. It was the second time that we came where a couple things really stuck out, and I focused in on those, and then we moved on to the next ones. But definitely the overspending, that stopped. Well, it didn't stop, but it definitely got a lot less.
Slowed to a trickle.
Yeah.
Yeah. What were you overspending on?
Meals mostly, like taking teammates out and, $400 or $500 dinners, 3-4 times a week, taking the team out. And then time wise, that was the second thing that changed the most. And then, as far as living expenses, my mortgage was a noose around my neck. It was probably, and I'm just guessing right now, probably about 6 months after our first steps, I was able to sell the house that we were in. I moved down to where Melanie's from. I live down in Vancouver now. And so we started reducing a lot of our overhead, what we could.
Yep. And initially, that's there's some hard decisions to make, you know what I mean? Because unfortunately, the direct sales industry, predominantly in network marketing, man, they just really teach you to buy loyalty of your team. And that somehow buying, taking them out to dinner all the time and you footing the bill all the time somehow is going to create a loyal team. And it doesn't. It literally gives them a crazy amount of pressure that they have to live under, that one day they're going to have to do the same exact thing. And what you end up doing is spending your whole check. So whatever income it is you're making, you end up spending it all in expenses and trying to buy loyalty from people, which in fact you found out you didn't buy anyone's loyalty at all. You didn't buy anything besides a crazy amount of pressure for them and for you. And then living in these two different places and having this crazy noose around your neck of a mortgage to show everybody how successful you are. It's not success. It's not success at all. It's pressure. It's pride. It's ridiculousness. And yet people keep this cycle up, not realizing they don't have to do that in order to succeed in a home-based business. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more of the success of the Greenoughs right after this. Have you ever wondered if your investments are making enough money for retirement? What if you could buy an investment rental property for as little as $35,000 that rents for at least $550 a month? After Aaron and Drew Hudson asked themselves this question, Hudson Real Estate Investments was formed, and now 200 transactions have been conducted. Their system helps individuals buy and hold real estate. Their definition of a great buy and hold is a property that pays you a monthly positive cash flow from day one. Hudson Real Estate Investments has a team who find properties available for immediate purchase, vet tenants, and have qualified property management in place. So if you're looking to have freedom and live your life on your own terms, grab your phone and text the word future to 484848. Get started today. Text the word future to 484848. Secure your future now.
Did you know you can take the Dani Johnson Show with you wherever you go? It's never been easier to stay up to date with the latest content from Dani with the DaniJohnson.com app. Watch or listen in the car, at the gym, or on the go. Download it now from the App Store and Google Play and never miss a show again. Your family, business, and bank account will thank you. And now, back to the Dani Johnson Show.
What is this all for? And who is it really all about? Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We're talking to Greg and Melanie Greenough from Vancouver, Canada, who entered into the business community in the direct sales industry, who were told that to have good success, you need to be taking your people out to big, expensive dinners and foot the bill. You got to have this big house. You got to have nice cars. You got to wear super nice clothes. You end up bleeding out financially, but standing up in front of people with a big smile on your face, telling a story, a story that, well, at the end of the day, you wonder, is this really true? And is this really what success is all about? That's where these two found themselves. Married, but living in two different cities with two freaking mortgages. Could you imagine? And for what? That question they asked themselves one day and realized we don't want to be selling this kind of success to anybody any longer. So they came out to a first steps to success. We just finished hearing from Greg about some of the changes that he made immediately. Some financial changes, stopped this buying everything and buying out everybody's apparent loyalty and get rid of this second mortgage second house that isn't even necessary. They made some big financial moves, and then they made some time moves. Greg, let's continue in that. What do you mean time was the next thing that you had learned at First Steps? And you guys have been to dozens and dozens of these First Steps to Success and Creating a Dynasty seminars through the years. So the last decade that you've been attending the training seminars. So when you said time was the next thing. So what did you change with time?
Well, I actually put some office hours in instead of from when my eyes opened up until they closed.
Yep. So your business owned you at that time. You didn't own it. It owned you.
Yeah.
And you were taught to build it that way. Like that's like the standard status quo for business is like, hey, from the minute your eyes open till the minute they go down. So Melanie, let me ask you from a wife's perspective, because you were working the same way he was working. What kind of stress did that bring into the relationship as you're trying to keep up the front that everything is wonderful?
Well, we were lucky enough that we were working together, so it didn't stress our marriage so much. But what it did stress was the relationships with our kids and my health. I got really, really sick, Dani, to the point actually where I almost died. And I know you know what that's like. But one thing that I want to just say, because I don't think it's talked about enough, it's, you know, when you get into business and when you get into building your dream and building your stuff, it's not like somebody is teaching you with their mouth that you need to do these
Example.
things. But what we found after going to, like you said, dozens of First Steps to Success, because it's not one, it's not two, it's not five, but it's the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th one that starts to reveal to you the things that are missing inside of you that you're filling with those things. So for example, what I saw was Greg was working so hard because he felt like or had a belief that for him to earn or be worthy of the money that we were earning, that he had to do that, that was actually like an intrinsic thing inside of him, that if he didn't do that he wasn't worth the money, and that there was some way he was failing as a leader. And so what I think I saw, and you know, yes, there was stress definitely in our lives, but then there was also this like deep void where, you know, you can only shovel stuff into that void for so long before it ends killing you. And so that for me was the biggest thing, was just, you know, being able to heal that worthiness issue and getting down to the point that, you know, my husband's an amazing, strong, humble, gorgeous man, and his heart is for people. And so, you know, and that's enough. And that's, you know what I mean? Like us in service.
Yep. But Melanie, what about you? I want to hear from Greg about this void, but what about you? What was the void in you causing you to work 100 hours a week? And I'm going to challenge you. I'm so sorry. A husband and a wife who are working 100 hours a week but don't have stress in their marriage, that's such BS. That's total stress on the marriage, Melanie. Give me a break. That your health, you almost died, that's stress on the marriage. The fact that you guys are not spending time with your kids, that's stress on the marriage. Give me a break. I don't care that you had a great sex life. I don't care that you were working together. That is a life that sucks. And that's a marriage that sucks. Let's call the kettle black already. Give me a break.
Yeah. I think when I think of marriage stress, I think of like, you know, us fighting and not getting along over the work hours. I actually had experience when I started to back off of my hours. That really created a lot of stress, because I started to change, like I started to follow your time management, right? And take a day off and turn off my phone. And that actually caused more stress between us to start.
Why? Tell me why. Greg, why did it bother you that she was actually trying to rest? You slave driver. Tell me about that. Go ahead.
Well, I think you pretty much summed it up right there. The things I was struggling with, I think, growing up, I guess I don't know if I got the recognition I needed or what. And I came into direct sales, got all kinds of recognition for achievement.
Yeah.
And I was just witnessing example from other people. So I thought I needed to do what they did, act the way that they did and all that. And I don't know if it was just fear of it all going away, because we actually had built something and, we had a big business, and I guess I was probably just afraid of it going away. And watching her, I guess I'm just trying to bring it all back because it was a long time ago.
It is fear. Yeah. It is fear that drives us to drive the health out of our spouses, and afraid of losing what you've built and having your trust in a business more than you had your trust in your God, who is not a slave driver. So many people confuse these matters. They really do. We did. Hans and I did at one point in our relationship as well, for sure.
And I think like what you were saying about the stress, like I put that stress on myself. It's not like Greg was pressuring. It was, and you asked me what was missing in me.
No, but I had expectations, I think. I made the expectation probably. I can't remember when it was, Dani, if it was our 5th or our 7th or our 8th.
Or 15th.
You said something one time that hit me like a ton of bricks. And you said something and it challenged my belief system. And you said, if I don't have to do it, then good.
Yep.
And I don't know what happened inside of me, but it was just like,
wow.
It went against me. I believed in business.
Yep. That you have to do it all. Yep. That you have to do it all. And it's such a lie. It's such a lie. This is Dani Johnson. We'll continue with more of the Greenough story. Wait till you hear what's happened to them since. Do you have a closet full of clothes yet say, I have nothing to wear? Are you a mom doing her best but desperately lacking me time? Or maybe your schedule has you dressing practically instead of powerfully. What if I told you there's a system, a blueprint that can save you time, money, and turn every head in the room, as well as impact the world through fashion? Friend, you're in the fashion business whether you like it or not. You're an ambassador representing your faith, your marriage, family, and business. Style is just a skill made easy with 123 Style Me. 10 steps to style success that will expand your leadership, save you hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars. This program will bring you peace of mind, reignite your marriage, make you more productive, respected, and instantly boost your confidence, equipping you to be bold and beautiful. Go to courses.lindapage.com. Again, that is courses.lindapage.com, and make a priceless investment in yourself.
Prior to getting to Dani Johnson's First Steps to Success, my husband and I were completely broke. We just filed bankruptcy. We lost our home to foreclosure, and we were on food stamps. After the second day of her event, we figured out where all our money was going. We got ourselves out of debt in 3 months. We paid off $18,000 worth of debt and are completely debt-free. And now we've finally created a life of our dreams. We've made a 6-figure business, and we're just doing everything that we want. So if you're thinking about coming to First Steps to Success, you've got to make it happen. Sign up right now and make sure you don't miss it.
Prior to plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was hopelessly lost in addiction. My relationships with people, coworkers, family, friends failed. I was struggling under the bondage of debt, and I had no clear vision or purpose for my life. After taking my first steps to success, I've been able to pay off $7,000 in debt in about 4.5 months. I have a clear vision and purpose for my life. I can honestly say that my addictions are a thing of the past. If you're interested in changing your life in whatever way, in whatever area, you need to log into DaniJohnson.com, and you need to be at the next First Steps to Success.
Prior to coming to First Steps, I was miserable. I never talked to people because I thought I was shy, I thought I was boring, and I thought that I was destined to be alone forever. After coming to First Steps to Success, I broke through all of those lies. I built confidence, and I used the skills that I've learned there to get myself an amazing job where I will be put quickly into a position of leadership. So if you're ready to find out who you are, why you are the way you are, and how to get new skills to dramatically change your life, you need to join me at the very next First Steps to Success. No excuses, no delays, get registered now.
Hi, my name is Paul. I'm from Massachusetts. And before plugging into DaniJohnson.com, I was buried under a sea of self-doubt, fear, and my communication skills were non-existent. Sales non-existent as well. But after attending First Steps to Success, my sales have quadrupled, my fear has been lifted, and my relationships are better than ever because I communicate better than ever. If you want your life to turn around, all your dreams start coming to fruition, you are going to be at First Steps to Success.
Prior to plugging in to Dani Johnson, my husband and I were drowning in a sea of debt. I had broken relationships all around me of the ones that I cared most about, and I had started a company that was losing more money than it was making. And after plugging into Dani Johnson, we have paid off $196,000 in 13 months. My company has grown 90%, and I have relationships that I could never have even imagined with the ones I care most about around me. So I don't know about you. Maybe you're making all the money you need to. Maybe you're doing great. Maybe your relationships are phenomenal. But if they're not, I encourage you to get to the next first steps to success.
What multimillionaire do you know that volunteers their time to help ordinary people like you and me? There's only one. This is the Dani Johnson Show.
So if you don't have to do it, then it's better. What do I mean by that? Hi, I'm Dani Johnson. Welcome to the Dani Johnson Show. We're talking to Greg and Melanie Greenough from BC, Canada. And we're talking about a time where we had a collision of ideals. They were working around the clock from the time their eyes open till the time they close their eyes at night. Stress on the marriage, stress on the health, stress on the kids, all for chasing the dream. And when he heard the words, if I don't have to do it, then good. That's a big win. That's about delegating. That's about not taking on the weight of the world yourself, but learning to train up other people to get things done and giving them an opportunity to succeed instead of you trying to do all the success on your own. So coming back to Greg and Melanie from Canada, Greg, you guys started to implement what you had learned at First Steps and Dynasty. You then started to manage your time better, taking your hours way back, annihilating some debt. How much debt have you guys now paid off?
Somewhere in the neighborhood of about 500,000.
Dude, how does that feel?
You know, we actually just did something radical a few months ago, too. We actually downsized and moved to a smaller town out of the city. Wow. And I feel like another 3,000-pound tombstone around my neck was taken off. Like, I don't know. I've got this, like, lately it's like getting the cost down even more, and I'm putting more into assets. And I don't know, it's like, I've got a spending addiction still, like I always have, but now I'm spending them on assets. And it's a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh. Which means you're creating wealth versus buying nice shirts. You know what I mean? That's amazing. My gosh. So, I mean, to look back 10 years ago is when you first walked into your first steps. Did you ever imagine cutting your hours back? Like, so tell me, you were 100 hours a week, each of you. And now what does your hours look like? Look at them. Look at them. They're like, uh-oh.
I think we need to work more.
Wow.
No, I probably...
I work about 30 hours a week.
And I'm about 20, 25.
Wow.
Neighborhood.
So you're no longer owned by business. Your time is no longer dictated by business, but you've learned time secrets. You've learned to master that. You've learned to get those places that needed to be healed inside of you, which we really focus on a lot at First Steps and creating a dynasty, to no longer be trying to fill the hole, the void that's inside of us, that's driving us. So now you've got income producing assets. You've got a business. You paid off over $500,000 worth of debt. You went from 2 full-time households down to 1, and you just downsized that one into a smaller one off in the country somewhere. Like, did you ever imagine in a million years that this would be your life?
I don't think it was the picture I had, no.
But how do you feel?
A lot lighter. Definitely a lot lighter. Yeah, that's probably the best word I can describe is lighter.
How do you feel now as a father and a husband that once was a slave driver of yourself and anyone else that was around you, to now having your kids a higher priority and your marriage the highest physical, human priority that you have?
It's liberating.
That's the word right there. That's liberating. Melanie, what about you from your perspective? I mean, you cut your hours way back and followed along on this journey as you guys were coming, to dozens of first steps success in creating a dynasties. How does it feel to be where you're at right now?
Well, I'm actually at a really good place as far as I am loving watching Greg fall in love with building assets. That's been really huge for me. Like, it's really, really cool, Dani. You have no idea.
Yes, I do. I know exactly how it feels.
Okay, well.
I'm married to a guy who builds assets, and oh boy, we used to buy a lot of junk, and now it's just building assets. It's an amazing feeling. But how does that change your view of your husband?
Oh my gosh. Well, it makes me, or it helps me to feel or know that he has our long-term legacy in view. Like, we want to build an empire, a Greenough empire, right? And so the foundations are now there for that to happen. He's given me the freedom to launch a coaching and consulting business, which I'm absolutely loving. Like, that's my my passion. And so that's actually why I increased my hours in the last 2 months, just to be able to do that, and just falling in love with and knowing that no matter what we choose to do, the foundations for our success have been laid. So it doesn't matter which road we choose to travel on. The things that we've learned through First Steps, the things that we've learned through creating a dynasty and through private coaching with you, I mean, all the exposure that we've had to you and Hans as a male example for Greg has been, life altering, right?
Yeah.
And then to be able to bring, I don't even know, hundreds of people through your events. And I mean, I was just on the phone with Shanda, who I know you interviewed,
yes.
and just you know what I mean? Like the pay it forward results in people's lives, and knowing it's not all on us, and one thing, Dani, that I would say anytime I can get in front of you and your audience is that to find a leader or a couple that actually does not have an agenda that's driven by getting money out of our pockets into yours, but rather an agenda to raise people up and change people's lives truly at the place where it matters. I mean, I've not found that anywhere else. And so, that's probably the thing we're most grateful for.
I can't tell you how sweet it is to hear those words. Thank you so much for saying that. But most importantly, thank you for even knowing that that's something you should find. So many people just don't care, and they get taken for a ride, and their bank accounts are emptied. And for what? To build somebody else's wealth. And so I'm so excited. I can't wait to tell Hans tonight that I got to talk to you guys today. I'm very proud of what you guys have become, what you've done. $500,000 worth of debt lighter, the downsizing, the freedom, the liberation, the quality of the marriage, and making a difference in the world. I mean, that really is what it's all about. So thanks so much for being here today with you guys. I so appreciate you. And listen, if this is your first time listening, start here. Here's First Steps to Wealth. It's a free book. You can download it on our website, DaniJohnson.com, or get a copy of it. Pay the shipping. We'll give you a free copy of the book. Go to the website and you can find it there. Start there. You got to start somewhere. The Granos started somewhere. You can start somewhere, and you can thrive the same exact way that these two are thriving. Thanks so much for joining us today. Have an awesome rest of the day. Are you confident that you're always getting a good deal? Have you been equipped with the negotiation confidence, strategies, tactics, and supporting tools you need to close world-class deals? Finally, JPA is making the exact same specialized negotiation training and secrets used by the world's largest, most successful corporations available to everyone. Proven in more than 60 countries and used by brands like Adidas, Vodafone, Pfizer, Nokia, and others, the JPA negotiation method will set you up to save money and time while significantly increasing your profits. It doesn't matter if you're buying or selling real estate, closing contracts with suppliers, or selling products and services to individuals or organizations. Using their simple step-by-step negotiation preparation checklist, you'll be ready to confidently slug it out toe-to-toe with the toughest professional negotiators. It's time for you to stop leaving money and opportunity on the table. Go to bizneg.com/events to register now. Again, that's bizneg.com/events. Get registered today. Financing a home can be a nightmare if you don't know exactly what you're doing. Ask me. I know this. That's why the first thing you have to do is find a mortgage company you can trust that has your back through the entire process. Whether you're buying your first home, upgrading your current one, or looking for an investment property, Rick Fujisaki at Wintrust Mortgage wants to win your trust. Rick understands the mortgage industry, and he can take all the stress out of financing a home for you. His easy-to-use worksheets will help you calculate the mortgage you can afford. And he has a unique tool designed to help you find and set aside money for your down payment. And when you work with Rick, who, by the way, I love, a portion goes to caring for the poor through King's Ransom Foundation. So visit loanmortgageguys.com and start building your dream today. Again, contact Rick at loanmortgageguys.com.